From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 16th, 2023. We open with response to Israeli President Isaac Herzog's proposal for a compromise in the judicial overhaul crisis, which was announced last night. It was rejected by Israel's coalition overall, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who spoke to the press before flying to Berlin. He said, unfortunately, the things the president proposes were not agreed on by the coalition, and central elements of the proposal he made just perpetuate the existing situation and don't bring the necessary balance between the branches of government. This, he said, is the unfortunate truth. Any attempt to reach an agreement and talk is surely appropriate. And the prime minister blamed the opposition for not sitting down to talks. Responding to the rejection, Herzog said, I accept constructive criticism with love and great respect, saying his proposal is intended as a basis from which we can move on, change, and specify. It's not the end of the discussion, he said, only its beginning. Everything is intended toward finding a broad agreement in Israeli society as soon as possible in order to prevent a schism within, to bring about national agreement, to calm things down and lead to dialogue. The opposition welcomed the president's proposal, and tonight its leaders, including former Prime Minister and opposition leader Yair Lapid, addressed the Israeli public, saying that the outline presented by the president is not perfect. It is not what we wanted, but it is a fair compromise that allows for what Lapid called a shared life, meaning for Israelis to live in the country together. We accept the president's outline because in a civil war, there will be only losers. As mentioned, Netanyahu is in Berlin, where he met today with Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who accompanied him to the Platform 17 Holocaust Memorial in the capital, later meeting with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. While speaking to the press with Scholz today, when asked by a reporter about the dangers of the judicial reform, Netanyahu rejected what he called slanders and falsifications about the overhaul, maintaining that the reforms will strengthen democracy and restore balance between the branches of government. And once again, Israelis took to the streets en masse today across the country to protest the judicial overhaul. In Tel Aviv, there was some police action as demonstrators broke through barricades and onto the Ayalon highway, disrupting traffic for several hours. There were a few arrests, but most of the demonstrations went on without incident. 30 Jewish Federation leaders shared their concern about the overhaul. They wrote for the divisions that the judicial reform debate is causing in Israel and among Jews worldwide. The Jewish leaders, representing communities across the United States and Canada, took part in a 24-hour fly-in to Israel to meet with Israeli leaders, including with Herzog and with Lapid, as well as with Simcha Rothman, one of the leading proponents of the reforms. The Federation leaders saying afterwards, it is our view that the time for compromise is now. Continuing to move the bills forward as currently formulated is causing harm that will not be easily repaired. They said they did not advocate for a specific plan, but urged that any final plan have a clearly articulated system of checks and balances, and that Herzog's work should form the basis of a final agreement. We urge all sides, they said, to immediately engage with him on this basis. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS. For Thursday, March the 16th at 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study. At 7:30, Rabbi David Rosen speaks about interfaith relations. At 8, Jonathan Tobin speaks with Oren Kessler about his book, Palestine, 1936. At 9, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with 3 IDF veterans who are currently protesting the proposed changes to Israel's judicial system. At 10, we hear from Robi Damelin, whose IDF soldier's son was killed by a Palestinian sniper. And coming up next, it's ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 16th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.